It's your boy Hi-Fi Vega. We're out here in the shop, ready to get some work done. Today, we're going to learn how to build a subwoofer box. As my buddy Craig from Old School Karate always says, it's important to plan your work and work your plan. What I mean by this is you need to have a plan of attack before you buy your wood, before you even think about cutting wood. So today, we're going to build two simple enclosures, one for an 8-inch, one for an 18-inch. Both are going to be sealed, square box design, as simple as it gets. And for the sake of simplicity, we're building both these enclosures to recommended manufacturer specifications. You can also calculate the subwoofer enclosure needs by using a box building program such as Win ISD or Basebox Pro, but these are a little more advanced and we won't be going over those today. Now that we know our airspace requirements, how do we figure out how big to make the box? The simplest way is to go to basic Car Audio and Electronics website and use their subbox calculator. I'll leave a link below, but I've already entered in a few height, width, and depth options here. My width thickness, calculated it up, and I got 5.4 cubic foot, and that's what I'm looking for. So now we know how big the enclosure needs to be. It's time to draw it out on paper and get our cut list ready. You can put the enclosure together several different ways, but my personal preference is to have the front and back baffle the full height and width of the enclosure. That allows all the 3/4 inch edges to be on the sides and the top and bottom of it so they're not seen when people are looking at it. So now we know we're going to cut the front and back to 12 inches by 12 inches. We need to calculate the top and the bottom. We're looking for 10 inches overall depth, so we will have to subtract 1.5 inches. That's 3/4 of an inch for the front and 3/4 of an inch for the back, which leaves us with an 8.5 inch top and bottom by 12 inch because they will cover the full width. Now on for the sides, this will be pretty simple. We need the same 8.5 inch depth, but we're going to need a 10.5 inch height because it's going to sit in between the top and the bottom, so we have to subtract 1.5 inches. Alright, let's head to the lumber store and pick up some wood. Not so fast. We have to figure out how we're going to deal with this wood. It's my recommendation to always have it cut down in the store because it's much easier to deal with on your table saw at home. When you do this, you're probably going to want to have them cut your most common cut. They're not always going to be 100% accurate, but at least it'll all be the same height. So in this particular case, you might want to get a 12-inch cut because that is our most common cut width-wise. Since I'm building two enclosures, and one for the 8, one for the 18, I'm going to go ahead and have them cut it 24 inches across the width. I can get 4 of those cuts out of a 49 by 97 inch piece. We've got our wood home. It's time to get to work. Time to cut our wood according to our plan. An important key thing to remember is to always cut the same size pieces at once. That way you get a consistent cut across the board. When I start the assembly process, I like to mark all my pieces and group them up front, back, top, bottom, and the sides. Also, make sure that you have your workstation ready and you've got your glue, your nail gun, your screw gun, whatever you're going to use handy. From here, it's a pretty simple process. You're just going to want to put glue on both sides. Make sure you spread it nice and even. I use a little paintbrush to do this, and I use the nail gun to hold the pieces steady. I also use a clamp to get good glue squeeze through. The nail gun is mainly just to hold the box together while the wood glue does its job because that is the main bonding force. Also, make sure that you wipe off the excess glue while it's still wet. It just makes it easier in the end when you go to finish the box out. From here, we're just going to go ahead and continue this process on all the different pieces until we only have the final piece left to put on, which for me will be the front baffle. So, just like with the rest of them, I'm using a paintbrush and glue, and I'm making sure I get a nice spread of glue on there because like I said before, this is going to be your main bond. We've almost got a completed enclosure, but I do have a few issues I need to address. Now, unless your table saw is absolutely perfect, you may end up with some cuts like these where it's not completely flush, but this is very easy to take care of. As it is woodworking, we can work this wood and make it right. The quickest way to take care of this is an electric sander. This one was fairly cheap, and I'll leave a description in the link below so you can pick it up and do the same. That sander made quick work of this, and we're all flushed up and ready to mount the front baffle. We're going to use this same procedure, tightening the wood clamps with every nail that we shoot. That way we get good glue squeeze through like we talked about before. If you're going to do a more SPL oriented enclosure, you're going to want to use screws most likely. And when you do that, make sure that you pre-drill and countersink all the holes. That way you don't split the wood. We've got the enclosure assembled. Now it's time to cut the mounting hole. But first, we got to find the center of the box. That way we know where to start from. There's a few different ways to get our mounting diameter. A lot of companies are good enough to include a template like this that makes it very easy. If you don't have that, a lot of them have the mounting diameter listed on their website. So once you have that, you just take an old school compass and mark it out. Once your cutout is drawn out, it's very important to remeasure it and make sure you're on the money. We measured twice, so it's time to start cutting. The best way to do this is with something that has a circle jig, like this rotozip, or a router with a circle jig. Unfortunately, all my bits are broke and I'm going to have to use this jigsaw, which is fine. You can do it perfectly fine with the jigsaw. You just need to take a little more time and be careful. Something helpful to me is to use a vacuum to clear the debris out of the front of the blade so that I can see exactly where I'm cutting. If your enclosure looks something like this when you're done, don't get discouraged because it happens to the best of us. This is very easy to take care of with that little hand sander that I showed you earlier. And let's look at the finished product and see what we got here. I'm showing you on the 18-inch enclosure just because it's easier to see. I've went ahead and sanded, and as you can see, the jigsaw hole, it's not perfect, but it's good enough, and it's not actually terrible. So it's not going to be perfect. Just, you got to get used to that. I went ahead and siliconed the inside of the enclosure. That way we don't have any air leaks. I don't even have to worry about it. So basically, as you see here, I've rounded over all the corners, I've smoothed all the edges, and I'm ready to paint it or cover it or do anything like that. So it's a project, it's a woodworking project. And as you can see here, I've added the terminals. You can do this, you can pass wires through your box. Mark from Car Audio Fab has a good video about passing wire through your box. So yeah, that's basically it. This project is not hard at all. Anybody can do this, and I encourage you to try it yourself. And if you do it, leave me pictures of it in the comments below. Send them to hi-fi-vega@gmail.com, and maybe I'll put them in one of my future vids. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you like this kind of content, think about subscribing. And as always, I'd like to thank each and every one of you that takes the time to watch my videos. It means a lot to me. I forgot to mention that I've got new die-cut Hi-Fi Vega stickers at teespring.com/hi-fi-vega merch. Check it out. Shout out to all my Patreon supporters, but a special shout out goes to the newest member of the team, Ron J.L. White. Also, G. Nava, Rick Quattlebaum, and Joaquin Juarez. For as little as $2 a month, you can join the team and get access to Patreon-only content that's not available on YouTube.